Thank you. Mr. Burge, would you state your full name and spell it for the record, please?
John, Jon, middle initial G as in George, Burge, B-U-R-G-E.
Okay. Now, during that 25 years or 20 years of working with the Chicago Police Department, did you come across instances of police torture?
I will adopt my prior answer to the first question as my answer to that question.
Are you taking your Fifth Amendment rights?
That's correct, on our advice of counsel.
Police brutality has got to go! John Burge, we say no! Police brutality has got to go! John Burge, we say no! Police brutality has got to go!
Over the past 8 years in the city of Chicago, there has been a systematic violation of the human rights of African Americans who have been subjected to some of the most indignant conduct that any human being can visit upon another. We have assembled because we are making a statement that when one individual, be he black or white, makes a determination to abuse the rights of another, that there are men and women of conscience in this town who will come forward and stand up and say we will not tolerate that type of barbarity.
I was raised in Chicago on the south side in the Beverly, Washington Heights area. And I come from a family with police and fire department and all that. And I always believed in it. We had the officer-friendly program in my grandma's school. I went to Catholic school. I was raised Catholic. I was raised with my mother and 2 sisters. I want to mention that I was falsely accused of setting a fire to the apartment building which my wife and our 15-month-old son lived in. Unfortunately, I was taken into custody in the hands of some detectives under Burge's watch, and I was taken into a interrogation room. And from that point on, some handcuffs were slammed on my hand. One on my hand and one on the ring. And one detective, Robert Dwyer, badge 4040, was throwing down pictures of victims of the fire and pick them back up. From that point on, Robert Dwyer made it clear that he hated niggers. I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable, but I want to go into detail to what happened to me. Robert Dwyer made it clear that he did not like niggers. He stated that it was a known fact. I remember him pulling up his chair and his blue eyes looking at me, saying that it was that he wanted me to call him a hunky, and he referred to me as nigger. And that was my name from that point on. He made it clear that he did not like niggers. And whoever set the fire killed nothing but niggers and did him a favor. And as far as he was concerned, they had me in custody. I would be the nigger that did it. From that point on, they took me to the old headquarters on 11th and State and took me into a utility room with old file cabinets and typewriters. And there they put the handcuffs behind my back and repeatedly hit me in my stomach.
1 minute.
And his partner, James Latito, kicked me from the back and kicked me in my groin. And finally they decided to put a plastic typewriter cover over my head and suffocated me. I think their intentions was for them to have me give a false statement, a confession, and I didn't give in. I believe had I had given in and said what they wanted me to say, I would probably still be in prison to this day. And I just thank God that
30 seconds.
you know, that I was strong enough to take that beating. And I'm here today to tell you about it and to support the fact that
I'm Amy Goodman. Earlier this month, Chicago City Council approved a $5.5 million reparations fund for victims of police torture. More than 200 people, most of them African-American, were tortured under the reign of Chicago Police Commander John Burge from 1972 to 91. Tactics included electric shocks and suffocation. The reparations package will provide free city college tuition for victims and relatives, counseling services, a memorial to victims, inclusion of Burge's actions in the school curriculum, and a formal apology.
I believe in Chicago. I believe in peace. I believe in a brighter future. I believe in myself. I believe in my parents.
I believe in education.
I believe in life.
We can make it, our needs are basic. Peace and hugs with a love blanket. More jobs, more education. Less prison, less incarceration. More occupation, less standing around. This is our city, this Chi-Town. To all my scholars, that's college down. I see your vision young and profound. To all my street gangs, it's time to turn back. Let's switch lanes, get on the right track. It's never too late to reach for the sky. All you need is courage and the will to fly. Gotta have faith when your back against the wall. We learn how to stand, leap up from the fall. I just seen it all, put the guns down, y'all. Write a new song, cause it's time to evolve. Like